We got Buster Faulkner, Georgia Tech offensive coordinator. This was the hire everyone was super hype about that I'm really excited about. Like I said, Georgia Tech guy now. Before this, though, 2016, he was the Arkansas State offensive coordinator. 2017 to 2018, he was the Arkansas State offensive coordinator and tight end coach. 2019, Southern Miss, he was offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. And he was at Georgia from 2020 to 2022. He was quarterback and quality control. Stetson Bennett is someone that obviously was under him, walk on, Heisman finalist in 2022, the mailman, 2 national championships in 2021 and 2022. And then 2023 to 2025 has been at Georgia Tech as offensive coordinator and tight end coach. EJ, this is a big hire, man. One of the best offensive coordinators in the country, has been successful every single place he's been. I think this is definitely a home run hire. I think people are going to be very excited about this guy. He loves to spread the ball out, loves to obviously run a lot, but he loves his 11 personnel, which we'll see quite a bit. He likes to spread out and use sideline to sideline, likes to take advantage of defenses with a lot of motion as well. Pre-snap motion. I'm really excited for this offense, EJ.
This is a tremendous hire. Gone are the days of just no, nonsense. What the hell are we doing? The calls don't make any sense. It's 4th and 1. We're not man enough to get a freaking yard. Gone are the days of 3rd and 6, and we run a 2-yard shallow out, and the quarterback can't even make an accurate throw on that. And then when they do, we get hit sticked for a 2-yard gain on 3rd and 6. Those days are gone, Gator fans. Those days are gone. Buster Faulkner comes from he's cut from a very different cloth. It's a what works pro style hybrid offense it blends air raid. It looks like an air raid with some spacing, with the spacing principles, but it's a heavy power run, and he's got multiple formations to accomplish the same thing, which is wear the defense down up front so that by the end of the game, we have a strategy. We have running game opportunity. We have short passing game opportunity. We have outside deep pass opportunity. He runs like 6 or 7 different run schemes. They go zone. We're going to see a lot of zone running schemes, like we saw at Georgia Tech. We're going to see a lot of counters, which I really, really love, where we've got pulling blockers, and it's a quarterback centric design. That's going to be interesting to see. Like if DJ Lagway can pick up on what Coach Faulkner is going to be putting down. And we got to talk about that. Is DJ Lagway still going to be the quarterback? Who this, that, and the other. I honestly think Lagway can be very effective in this scheme. I think he could be very effective. It's a quarterback like Haynes King left Texas A&M. He was not a great fit for that scheme, which was more, Jimbo Fisher had a little bit more of the quarterback had to figure it out and throw accurately down the field. When he was a quarterback that was more so suited around, an embedded RPO read game with design power runs, that's where he was successful. And so we went to Georgia Tech and said Buster Faulkner is going to be our quarter. Buster Faulkner said, "Hey, we're going to design this offense around you, my friend, because the quarterback is the most important position." And so that's why I think no matter who the quarterback is, we're going to have really good opportunities. He's had a top 15 rushing attack no matter where he's gone or where he's been the coach. And when you can run the football, everything else is on the table. You look at the Alabama Georgia game. That was the most important game when you're looking at why the run game is so important. I'm sitting there looking at this game. I'm like, Alabama's just not even trying. Some of them, they weren't even trying to run the football, and they would run it and then get stopped, and then they'd be like, okay, I guess we got to go back and pass 20. No, Buster Faulkner is going to have run plays designed that we're going to put a hat on a hat and freaking knock your ass over, and we're coming. And you saw when Georgia Tech played Georgia, it was a deliberate attack. Now they lost 2 years in a row, but those games were very close, very close. And Georgia is a very difficult offense to defend with how well Stockton executes from the quarterback position. So Faulkner, I think, is going to be able to put together an offense that's centered around the run, centered around run RPO. Hopefully, we'll get some news of Jaden Ball's coming back because I think if you have Jaden Ball and a Lagway with a Faulkner type of offensive scheme, that is going to be a just on a face value, will be very difficult to defend, even if you're not even trying to throw the ball, even if you're just hitting them with runs, screens, counters, power run, dump off passes underneath screens, quick slants. You can just possess the ball the whole game down the field, wear the defense out, and then in the fourth quarter, we're just freaking bulldozing over you to get touchdowns. And this is how Georgia Tech beats teams that are less talented than them, and they win all these games because they're doing that with their offense. Their defense hasn't really even been that great, but because they're so dominant with their offense, uh, they're wearing these teams out. Then you complement that with an explosive passing game. If you have a Dallas Wilson back, if you have a Vernell Brown back, if you get a Mizell back, now all of a sudden Faulkner is putting those guys in positions to actually win games. We saw, Billy Napier, who the hell knows what he was doing with his rotation of players. Faulkner is no nonsense. He's going to say, okay, number 8 looks like when we throw you the ball, you can make some guys miss and bust it wide open. Well, hell, that's what we're about to do. So I think this is a great hire. We are going to be a very difficult offense to deal with just at a face value. And it just depends on how quickly whoever the quarterback is can, get a feel for the style of play and what we're trying to accomplish on each and every drive. And so sorry for the long-winded answer, but I do think this is a really good hire.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're good, dude. That was, I agree with everything you just said. And Rob made a great point. All of, but 2 of DJ's, interceptions happened on third down, which tells me he was trying to make, plays instead of actually fighting for another down. And then we got your boy said most of Lagway's interceptions were because the ball bounced someone, and that's true as well. I think a lot of it is also just timing of just throwing the ball, which is footwork, and there's a lot of issues there. But I think it's also he's not comfortable in a tight. Think about it. He did a air raid spread offense in high school. He was used to. I mean, it looked like a Tennessee offense that he was in high school. So when you go from that to when you're playing in a phone booth, and you already have the significant upgrade to playing at the college level from high school, like that's tough on a quarterback, especially when when he didn't have any off-season practices or anything either. So you'd have to look at it from that point of view. And like you said, in a actual spread offense, the pro style, they're going to run the ball. The RPOs are heavily used in this offense. And so I think that could get his confidence up a little bit. You have 2 things. You have two decisions you can make. It's either hand the ball off to Jaden Ball or throw it to Dallas Wilson. You know what I mean? So either way, you're going to be fine. And so if you can get his confidence up with that, bring up those safeties, and then you have a strong arm quarterback in DJ Lagway who can hit you over top now, I could just see this offense being insanely deadly, EJ. Especially this defense can get pressure on quarterbacks, put pressure on them, get sacks, get turnovers. I think that this Gator team next year could be a really serious threat to a lot of teams. Sam is here. What's going on, Sam? How are you, man? Said that the schedule's much easier next year. You're 100% right. We start off with 2. We play the Camels, I think, week 1. Who the hell are the Camels? We play the Camels, I think, week 1. We got FAU right up there as well, back-to-back. FAU went 4-8 this year. Horrific defense. Terrible defense. I think they were in like the bottom 3 in college football. It was insane at the FBS level. So yeah, we're looking really really solid here in these first two games to actually have a little bit of a nice kind of wind up. We're not getting thrown into the Wolves' den to
Yep.
start out with. So I'm really excited to see DJ in this offense. I think he's gonna stay. I think Jaden Ball throw the bag at that man. The wide receiver group. I think we got to go out and get some dogs on the offensive line. I think that's where we really need to hit in the transfer portal, EJ. Even if all our guys were coming back from this year, I would still be like, go get a bunch of offensive linemen from the transfer portal, please. You talked about the GT counter and all these different movements that the offensive line are going to be doing in this offense with all the RPOs and stuff as well. They got to have heavy discipline in that sense, EJ. I think, yeah, our offensive line is gonna be extremely important. You talked about how the run game with Buster is always
Yeah.
very consistent. His explosive rank is always very consistent. This past year, 18th in the country. Play efficiency, 28th in the country this year. The drive efficiency was not great. A lot of that had to do with them getting into the inside the 30, inside the 40 in enemy territory. The play, the field getting more condensed, and you also got to look at the fact that Georgia, it wasn't a play calling issue, it was execution. And you got to look at Georgia Tech's, talent as well. They're 39th in the country this year. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Florida, we're top 12, whatever we are. So he's going to have a lot more talent as well, a lot more playmakers out there to go make plays. And so while, the drive efficiency is something that you can't overlook, like I said, it was 125th in the country. I think, a lot of that had to do with just go. You look at the North Carolina State game. You look at the Georgia game, right? They went for a lot of field goals inside like the 30-yard line. And a lot of that had to do with just execution issues. I don't think it's really play calling. You get better players. You get to coach them up a little bit more. I think that execution thing kind of fixes itself, and it won't be a problem going forward. So I'm really, really excited, man, to see Buster with this offense. I think it's gonna be dirty. It's gonna be nasty. He, like I said, loves to spread out the ball, loves his RPOs. He's a quarterback coach that did really well with the quarterbacks at Georgia. He wasn't the quarterback coach at Georgia Tech. Maybe you bring in someone at in that position coaching, in that positional coaching spot at Florida. I don't know how they're going to go about that, but he did good at Georgia. I mean, he developed Stetson Bennett to be a Heisman Trophy winner, or Heisman candidate. So I think that's going to be pretty important there. Not trophy winner. He was a finalist. But I do think that's all those things point to some really good signs for this Florida Gator offense, EJ. I think DJ, like you said, DJ, like you said, I think is going to be really, really, really good in this offense. If he could just settle down, get a full off season of practice, I think that's going to be absolutely massive.
Yeah.
You said, am I the only one who loves ball, but running backs are a dime a dozen? Having an NFL GM, he might not make him a priority. No, I'm telling you right now. I mean, even though the NFL GM is going to be, doing a lot of the talent stuff, the talent acquisition and things like that, John Summerall talked about how he wants to keep Ball. I think when the head coach, like they said, they're going to work in tandem. We're going to throw the bag at Ball. If Ball leaves, it's not going to be a money issue. He's just going to want to go somewhere where he thinks he has a better chance of getting to a national championship maybe. But like you said, this Buster Faulkner has consistently had one of the best rushing attacks in the country. They're a rush first team, or like one of the strong power teams. I don't know why you wouldn't want to be in this offense. I don't know why you wouldn't want to stay in Gainesville. It seems like he loves Gainesville. Stay with a lot of the teammates, especially if DJ Lagway's coming back. You already know your quarterback well. There's already that cohesion there. I think that this is a home run hire in a lot of ways, DJ.
It's definitely a home run hire for Florida. It's gone are going to be the days of frustrating offenses that don't make sense, right? Which is what we saw repeatedly with Billy Napier as offensive coordinator. The fact that wide receivers are going to get open via different formations, play action, RPO. The thing about Faulkner that I've noticed is he doesn't just have guys just out there, just going through the motions. Everything is with purpose. So if we have a tight end, whether it's a Hanson or a Livingston that's out there, they're going to have to be out there and execute and make a play. Right now, we just have okay, you have a tight end in your position, just get out there and we'll throw you the ball and see what happens. No, it's you have to be able to execute, catch, break a tackle, shake somebody off, and get a first down. Okay? It's going to make a lot more sense. And I'm really excited about, you know, watching that. And being able to run the football effectively is the most strategic thing you can do in football. So seeing the offensive line coach or whoever, that ends up being, is also going to be really important. But one quick thing about our schedule, since the chat brought it up. So usually the even years for Florida is usually more favorable from a schedule standpoint. And that's usually been because we have 8 SEC games and the game, so 4 on the road, 4 at home. But y'all know we play Georgia every year on a neutral field. On the even years, the Georgia game is considered a road game, even though it's a neutral site game. So you get 4 games in the swamp and only 3 true road games, plus the game against Georgia, which is a road game, but it's neutral site. This is my theory on why Florida has only won national championships on even years, because as you all know, it's only about how many games you've lost. They could care less about how many teams you beat. And so on those even years, we've always had a favorable schedule. Next year, they're changing it up to where we have 9 conference games. So typically, every team every other year will have 4 home games, 5 road games. Then it'll switch the next year. You have 5 home games, 4 road games. But the 4 teams in the conference that have a neutral site conference game every year, what they've worked out is every year you will have 4 true home games. So we'll have 4 true home games in Gainesville. You'll have 4 true road games every year. And then you will have your neutral site game. So I really, really like that because it's going to be completely even. We aren't going to have a year where you have 5 road games and then only 3 home games and then the neutral site game, right? Because then that doesn't really make any sense. So you have a complete scheduling disadvantage at that point to have 5 true road games and only 3 true home games with the neutral site. We're not going to have that. We're going to have 4 home, 4 road, 1 neutral every single year. Scott Strickland gets a lot of crap, but he fought for that. And I think that's a very fair way to go about the scheduling process. Next year, the road games are going to be Kentucky. I believe we play Kentucky, Auburn, Missouri, Texas. On the road. Those are all winnable games.
EJ,
Next
we,
year.
we, we really got to go to that Auburn game, man. I think that'd be so much fun. To see the
Oh,
goalish and I think that'd be so cool.
yeah,
We might have
goalish,
to do that.
man. That's gonna be yeah. And we like never play Auburn.
No, and we're big rivals. Another thing too, the actual official schedule is gonna be released this Thursday, and so
Oh,
we
great.
might do like an emergency live, or I don't know what we'll figure it out. But I think it'd be really fun to go through because we don't got to spend too much time on it. But we'll actually get the official dates, which is very important. You know what I mean? Because if we play, we know we're obviously we only have 4 games scheduled in Florida Atlantic, the Camels, Georgia, and Florida State, but the other all the other games, the other 8 games, right, are all to be announced. And
Yeah.
so this could look like an easy schedule or bad, and then it just be flipped on its head because we play at Texas and at Auburn and Oklahoma and Ole Miss all in a row, and then we want to kill ourselves. So we don't really know what that's going to be like. But just looking at it now, EJ, it's not a easy schedule, but it's not what it has been, and I think that's pretty refreshing. Also, kind of what you were talking about earlier, 100%.